Are you ready to meet your top 16 drivers? Starting with the first car parked, closest to the finish line. In the Monster Energy Nitto Tire, Ford Performance Mustang RTR Spec 5D, ready to rock, Von Gittin Jr. Rounding out that two-car RTR team, he is ready to routing the BC Racing Ford Performance Nitto Tire Mustang RTR Spec 5D. It is Chelsea Nofa. Next up, two-time and defending Formula Drift champion. He's behind the wheel of the Wordhouse Drift team, Falcon Tires S15 from Ireland, James the Machine Dean. Another duo like Batman and Robin. They are the Candy Machine. Next up, he is recipient of the Black Magic Pole Award winner, your #1 qualifier, April Aplis, the store manager of AutoZone, presenting the award and that trophy and some cash. There you go. Congratulations, April. Giving him the chain, and there it is. So here we go. Your #1 qualifier here from Poland, behind the wheel of that Wordhouse Drift team, Falcon Tires S15. It is Piotr Fisic. Coming from the Bay Area, hence the name, the Beast from the Bay. Behind the wheel of Falcon Tires, Borla Exhaust Heat Wave Corvette. It is Matt Field. Some more teal and blue out here on track. There's quite a few of the Falcon Tire livery and Falcon Tires on track. He is originally from Michigan, now in Southern California. Behind the wheel of the Roush Performance Falcon Tires Ford Mustang. It is JTP Justin Pollock. Ryan Sage just had some words with this groundbreaking driver. He is not behind the wheel of the first ever electric Camaro to compete in Formula Drift competition. He's behind the wheel of what he calls Old Red, and he is ready to do battle here for the second time ever in top 16. Behind the wheel of his Napoleon Motorsports Nitto Tire S13, it is Travis Reeder. Next up, moving down the line, the only three-time Formula Drift champion, a Formula Drift veteran since day one. He is piloting his NOS Energy Drink Next Entire Nissan 370Z is Chris the Force Forsberg. The two drivers that make the blackout, Chris and this driver. Black Magic Gum Out. He's behind the wheel of his Gum Out Toyota Racing Toyota 86 on Nitto Tires. It is Ryan Turk. Some more Toyota racing love, another FD veteran since day one. He is hungry for it. He is the OG. Behind the wheel of his Gretty Performance Toyota Racing Toyota 86 on Achilles tires. It is the Gooshkin Gooshie. He represents the PNW with some Thunderbolt Racing fuel going through the veins of his Ford Power 959 Achilles Tire S13. It is Matt Kaufman. Another former Formula Drift champion as well as an FD veteran. He pilots his Turn 14 distribution Falcon Tires Ineos Oil Subaru BRZ. It is Slide or Die Jiro Yoshihara. Next up, I can almost see his palms sweating from here. For the first time ever in top 16 Formula Drift Pro competition, he is piloting his Huddy Permatex AutoZone BMW. It is the Dozer, Dylan Hughes. Dabbing on him. Dabbing on him. Another BMW up in the mix, another former champion. He pilots his Esse Autosports Achilles Tire BMW. It is Michael Esse. Moving on down the line. He is second in points, only 2 points behind the last driver. He is fighting for this championship, and we still have these battles and 3 more rounds to go. He is in the hunt for a 2019 championship. He is driving the Falcon Tires Field Suspension S14.5. Say hello to Odie Bakshish. Last but definitely not least, he is your Formula Drift points leader. He popped an engine yesterday in his first qualifying run, put it together, and here he is in the top 16. Can he maintain the lead? We will find out in just a little bit. He is driving, again, another former champion as well. He's piloting his Rockstar Energy Drink, Toyota Racing, Toyota Corolla hatchback on Next to Tires. It is the Norwegian Hammer, Fredrik Asbo. There are your top 16 drivers. Are you ready to send it Evergreen Speedway and drifting fans around the world? Hashtag FDSA, make some noise! All right, Ryan, as we are getting prepared here, the track is clear, and man, we got a packed house here. What do you think, man? Look, what up, Ryan?
I don't really leave this booth a whole lot.
It's from here to catering to back?
We here to bathroom and back pretty much.
Just so you're locked down.
I don't get to enjoy the events as much as you do.
Oh, yeah, because, I mean, I always tell people jokingly, I say, I'd really love to just watch a Formula Drift event. And I say that, obviously, I enjoy my role. I enjoy, and also thank you for, the Formula Drift family for putting that Icons piece together. If you haven't watched it, that was really humbling and awesome experience to see just kind of a culmination of 15-plus years. But I would say that the Seattle fans, the Pacific Northwest fans, in this area are just really engaging, really awesome.
Absolutely, and what I've been completely floored and impressed by just over the years is just how educated they are on the small nuances of the sport and understanding some of the judging and how these events run and just really supporting it, full bore.
Yeah.
Really giving this sport an opportunity that we all think it deserves, and it's amazing to see all the fans come out and join us. These are not really easy to come to sometimes. Yeah. Driving many hours away. It's 8-hour days, qualifying, all that crazy stuff. But at the end of the day, it's well worth it because it's some of the best action out there. Yeah,
I've said it before. These are some of the best fans. So do you guys think you're some of the best fans? Are you some of the most humble people you know? That was honest. That was good. That was kind of a rhetorical question. But we are getting prepared. Our first battle here on deck, and this gentleman has not done battle yet because he is your Black Magic top qualifier. On the right, you got Piotr Fisic from Poland, the Candyman. And he is going against Matt Kaufman, and Matt Kaufman looking very comfortable behind the wheel, but especially and specifically at this track. That is a Ford power plant under the hood, or poking out of the hood of his S13, the 959. This machine was built for ore from Oregon. He is from right here in the PNW. Here we go. Piotr Fisic, the Candyman, versus Matt Kaufman. Put him in a Kaufman. Here we go. As Piotr Fisic initiated with that faint entry. Matt Kaufman tip to tail right there, dropping into formation. Piotr Fisic riding the wall. Really big angle there from Peter. And look at Matt Kaufman. Anything you can do, I can do better. He's right there, mimicking his angle, coming down in the power alley, into that touch and go. Both of them dropping a little bit of tire into that second outer zone. Now coming into that first inner clip. Piotr Fisic, Matt Kaufman nosing in, not as much angle. Now they transition into that final inside clip and across the finish line, punting that cone there at the end. Ryan, a great way to start the top 16. And I got to admit, some of these 32 battles, you would assume they're 16, but man, 16 is going to get gnarly.
Well, look at this initiation here from Piotr Fisic. Starts off nice and high on the bank, locks in that line, but Matt Kaufman not letting him run away. A little bit of reduction of angle there, a little bit lower line, but keeping it tight on proximity. Now coming off the bank, both drivers get right up to the edge of the course, snap back around by Piotr Fisic, and here's Matt Kaufman, loses a little bit of angle through that first inside clip, and then through the finish line, both drivers pushing extremely hard there. So great start to the top 16, as you said.
What, do you got something to say, Ryan? I'm just kidding. You enjoy your Tic Tacs, kiddo. As Matt Kaufman here will now be leading, and the Piotr Fisic, the Candyman, will be given chase. So as he's really adopted it too, like he loves it. And here we go. Matt Kaufman will lead. Piotr Fisic will give chase. Let's see if Piotr Fisic on his first battle here in Seattle. Kaufman locked and loaded. Look at that angle. That's what I was talking about. But Piotr Fisic right there mirroring him. Look at Kaufman. Oh, and massive angle. He loses it, straightens out, and it looks like he might have tapped the wall. We'll have to go to the instant replay, and it might have straightened him out, but what a great aggressive piece of driving from both Kaufman and Fisic. Let's take a look overhead. Here we go, Ryan.
Well, an incredible start, as you said, Jared, and it continued on here in the second half of the battle. Peter Fisic dives right into the pocket, stays on the same line as Matt Kaufman, and let's watch as he gets to the, it looks like he may have tapped the wall on the exit of the bank or just lost angle. We probably need to see that from the overhead, but definitely the run would have finished there because the lead driver did not, or he would have incompleted the run at that point. Let's take a look here. Fisic really, yeah, there he goes, right into it was the wall that caused Matt Kaufman to go off course, unfortunately, sometimes pushing a little bit too hard. Here it is from the power alley, and a great job right there by both drivers. Unfortunately for Matt, just pushing a little bit too hard.
Yeah, and Kaufman knew, you know, he wanted to just really throw down, but as Kaufman knew, when he goes against Piotr Fisic, who's the #1 qualifier, he saw him, you know, his spotter in his head and in his ear telling him, yo, this is who you're going against. You need to bring it. And he really pushed for it. And Peter Fisic, you saw him, he was on the same line. He was like, all right, if you're going, I'm going too. And you saw him overshoot it. But unfortunately, that is all she wrote for Matt Kaufman. Make some noise for Matt Kaufman, but Peter Fisic gets the win and advances on into the Great 8. A great way to start the top 16, Ryan. Definitely, like I said, it's a shame that Kaufman hit the wall, but he knew, you know, what Piotr could bring.
He had a strong event. He looked great, you know, and just sometimes those little tiny mistakes end up being something that you can't recover from. And unfortunately, in that case, the wall really doesn't move in that position of the track. So he'll be out of competition, but we'll move quickly on to our next battle with Travis Reeder and Michael Esse. And he was talking a little bit about how he would try to strategize his battle here, being the chase driver first.
Okay, all right. So, yeah, you, Ryan, having some words with Travis Reeder. Again, groundbreaking effort from that Napoleon Motorsports Nitto Tires team. They have the all-electric Camaro that they've been campaigning at some rounds of competition. We saw in Atlanta, throw down for the first time ever, doing head-to-head. Michael Esse out front, and Travis Reeder in that chase position. Michael Esse initiating as Travis Reeder back quite a bit as Michael Esse very smooth. You can see that car just look, set it and forget it as he bakes those Achilles tires into the power rally, out to that touch and go, filling all of that second outer zone, about the second hash mark on the first inner clip, and now into the second, really tight there. And Travis Reeder, you know, quite a few car lengths back, kept and maintained that distance, but definitely needs to be considerably closer.
Well, you have to imagine that this lead run here from Michael Esse would have been well into the 90s if it was a qualifying run. Look how high he is up on the bank and maintaining that line all the way around. Travis Reeder trying to play catch up here, and he gets right into that touch and go. Michael Esse does, as well as that inside flip. Coming off of that second outside zone, looking beautiful. So he's not running away, he's not cutting the course, he's doing what the judges are asking there, and he puts together an amazing first run here. So Reeder has now got to come back strong here and challenge Michael Esse to put down his best lead run that he can.
And we are going to see the second half of this battle. If you are just tuning in, the second battle of top 16, Peter Fisic already in the Great 8. And the winner of this battle going against the Polish driver in the Great 8. Who's it going to be, Esse or Reeder? The second half. We're ready to send it here on the second half of this battle. Next up, we get Daijiro Yoshihara and Odi Bakshis. They're waiting in the wings. You see Vaughn getting Jr. back there. He'll be going against another FD veteran, Ken Gucci. And Reeder comes out of the chicane and down the chute. Tip to tail, that's the way the judges want to see them initiate. And Esse, a bit of a late entry there. You can see just kind of rolling into it. Wow, Reeder just going for it, shredding that back bumper in the back end, old red as he calls it. And into the touch and go, into that second outer zone. Esse doesn't get all the way out to that second outer zone. Kind of struggling in that chase position, and Reeder, counters back. And unfortunately for Reeder, I think he had a pretty good lead run. Michael was making some mistakes in the back, but that's going to be incomplete.
Yeah, I think so. As you mentioned, Esse did get a little bit of a late jump there, a late initiation, right near that last standing cone. But you can see that Reeder was kind of wavering up on the bank. Esse had to make an adjustment there, as it became pretty clear in the first run that Esse's got the quicker car here. So trying to keep pace with them, not get too close. But right here, Reeder just overextends. And at that point, it becomes an unchaseable lead. So the judges needing to do some deeper analysis up until that point, but you have to assume that this is going to go in the direction of Michael Esse.
All right, so we will find out. Yeah, look at that. I mean, that's just unfortunate for Reeder. And you know, truth be told, he did that in his first qualifying run where he straightened out right before the finish line. So it was an unscorable run. And that's exactly the reason why that would be an incomplete in qualifying, even without a chase vehicle. So here we go. The results of Travis Reeder, Michael Esse. Slide him left for Reeder, right for Esse. Ryan, Andy, and Brian are 3 judges. Ryan says Esse, as does Andy and Brian. It's unanimous. Michael Esse gets the win. Esse will be going against Fisic in the Great 8. All right, here is our next battle. More Falcon tire about to be shredded. On the right there, the BRZ turbocharged LS engine under the hood. Turn 14 distribution. Ineos oil, Falcon tires, Daijiro Yoshihara. And then you have that of Odi Bakshis, Falcon tires, Field suspension, Vortex supercharged V8, the S14.5 from Wrightwood, California, as he is currently 2nd in points. So a pivotal moment for him, as he's only 2 points behind Frederick Osbo. And Ryan, we keep talking about the championship and what unfolds. I mean, bragging rights for the overall victory, but every round matters, and we are ready to see them send it down the pipe. So, Dai Yoshihara, Odi Bakshis coming through the chicane. Dai Yoshihara leads, Odi Bakshis giving chase. Tip to tail, some separation there. Let's see if Odi can catch up on that ground, and you can see him inching closer and closer. And there goes Dai Yoshihara, really solid. Lead run as Odi Bakshis tries to flex on him, ends up throwing himself offline. And so how quickly Odi Bakshis was really getting close, but then just as he got close, got out of shape, Brian.
Well, there may be a bit of an opening here for Odi Bakshis, Daijiro Yoshihara, to take an advantage here on the second run, or use that to his advantage. You can see Odi creeping up to Dai on the bank. Dai nice and high, both drivers mid-high line. Now coming out the bank, Odi's gonna get super close. He angles up coming out to the touch and go area, and then he shallows up his line to get back to try and close the door on Dai. So at first pass, it looks like a little bit of a mistake there by Odi in the chase position. Here it is, overhead drone. He's surging forward. Dai right there in that decel area is allowed to slow down relative to the speed coming through. And we see Odi having to make that adjustment to avoid contact there, and it does look like it may go against him in this particular situation. But we have the second half of the run here, and Jared, take a look at this. Both drivers off to the side.
Oh boy, Ryan, you know, our drone perspective, our drone view compared to previous rounds of competition. The gentleman Johnny FPV not joining us here at this round of competition, but it looks like they're ready to go back at it. I would say so. Comp timeout not called, actually not utilized. But I think this perspective and this view, as opposed to the really close and exciting, that makes for an awesome view. But I think this view, I wish we could have both, right, and just oversee. But I think this gives a good perspective.
It's definitely a better view with respects to judging, I think, because you're able to see really a lot more nuance from above, the lines that are painted and the angle of the car. And just to clarify here about what you just said, we saw Odi's spotter put the 5 minutes up, but then it looks like Odi actually waved it off because he felt the vehicle was okay. So we are not going to be charging him with a competition timeout.
Well, unfortunately, he might not have called the competition timeout, or unfortunately for him, but unfortunately he did have contact and he did shoot him off course. But now he really needs to step up to the plate and knock it out of the park here as Odi Bakshis initiates. Dai Yoshihara back there a little bit. Can he make up that ground? Maybe he's kicking back. I wouldn't consider this an inactive chase. Look at Dai really ripping that power around that first clip and around the second. Both of them looked like Dai knocked over the first one, Odi knocked over the second. If this is qualifying, you'd be deducted 2 points for knocking those over. Let's look at it again here, Ryan.
Well, Dai wasn't as much of a threat in the chase as Odi was. Odi is on a mid-high line and then starts to come down a little bit without filling that zone completely. You can see Dai did not have the proximity. Now, that was the point where the contact was made in run number 1. Dai trying to gain some ground here through that first inside clip, now transitioning back around. Odi hits that one. So as you mentioned, both drivers are making a couple mistakes here, and certainly a lot to digest for the judges. Here's Dai coming through the smoke line, ripping through this section of the course. Dai's not going to get completely out to that second outside zone. So a lot of calculation coming into this one here, as Dai was a bit tight on that final inside clip as well.
Here we go, Odi Bakshis, Dai Yoshihara, slide him left for Odi Bakshis, right for Dai Yoshihara, and Ryan says Dai, Andy, and look at that. Dai Yoshihara gets the victory and Ryan. Odie Bakshi's out early, considering this is only the top 16.
Well, that is definitely a very big blow to Odie Bakshi's in his championship campaign after dominating the first 2 rounds, getting those back-to-back wins. We now see him off course after losing in the top 16, and we'll see how things play out here for the rest of the competition.
Yeah, that's a big blow there to Odie's camp. Before we move on to our next battle, they're just about to warm up their tires. We throw it down to Lorette Nickel, who's with the Candyman.
Standing next to your team manager, you were just watching the replay, and obviously you wanted to learn something about the win that you just had in top 16. And what was that?
Yeah, actually, I was watching the next battle, my opponents, you know, who I might drive against, just to learn how they initiate and how they slow down before touch and go and after the first outside zone, because this is the tricky point. You know, we are going very high speed on the first corner, and there are many ways how to decelerate, initiating and coming off the bank. So that's definitely good when you are chasing to know what your opponent is doing. So let's hope that we are prepared well, and we'll see in top 8.
Okay. Peter, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you, Lorette, and thank you, Peter Fisic. Good luck to you. You'll be doing battle with Michael Esse in the Great 8. Now we got Ken Gushi and Vaughn Gittin Jr. Ken Gushi, that gritty performance, Toyota Racing Toyota 86 on Achilles tires, and the chrome nose being debuted at Goodwood just a couple weeks ago, and Vaughn liked it so much, says, let me dip that nose in chrome. So the professional fun haver behind the wheel of his Monster Energy Nitto tire, Ford Performance Mustang RTR Spec 5D. Vaughn Gittin Jr. RTR ready to rock for a new generation of Ford owners. And Vaughn actually debuting a new vehicle as the Series 1 Mustang RTR powered by Ford Performance. Just hit dealers, only 500 available. Is a dream come true for Vaughn. So again, the Series 1 Mustang RTR hitting dealers now, limited edition 500. All right, so Ken Gushi will lead. Vaughn Gittin Jr. will give chase. Gushi qualified 5th compared to Vaughn Gittin Jr. qualified 21st. Here we go. Ken Gushi, Kenshiro flying out of the gate. But here comes Vaughn. Ken Gushi right on the wall as Vaughn Gittin Jr. A small correction. A little bit of lack of angle there, but then throws it back out. And whoa, coming into that touch and go. Allows him to pass right past that chrome nose I just spoke about. Past that first inner clip, knocking out that Black Magic clip. And around the final inner clip goes Goosh and Gittin.
That was more or less what I was expecting out of that first run. That was quite awesome to watch. Gushi, nice initiation and surging forward here as Vaughn Gittin Jr. But watch Gushi stay nice and high on the bank, beautifully executed. Vaughn was a little bit lower, kind of twitchy there, but he kept proximity. He had to angle up there to try to make sure that he didn't hit Ken. Ken gets out to that outside zone. Now Vaughn driving through the smoke line, keeping the pressure on, and then just falls back for a second there. Here it is coming off the bank, very close here by Vaughn. But watch, you can see he's not going to fill that second outside zone as well as Ken does, following him on that line, getting a really good perspective from the overhead shot there. So Ken Gushi did a great job in the lead position. Vaughn's going to have to do something equal or better in his lead. But Gushi cannot fall back here, cannot let Vaughn run away. He's really got to keep the pressure on. Vaughn did a great job on the bank, even with those mistakes in the proximity side of things.
You saw how much power Vaughn had. He just jumped to the side of Gushi. It was definitely impressive. But Gushi, I mean, he filled that second outer zone really meticulously.
Beautifully, and you know, as I said before, yesterday I think we were talking about it, both these drivers look like two of the hungriest drivers in the series right now, the way they're driving.
Something to prove. These FD veterans, Vaughn Gittin Jr. coming down using all of the course, now into that outer zone. Here comes Ken Gushi, not as close as Vaughn Gittin Jr. was on that bank, but Vaughn Gittin Jr. brings it into that power alley, feels that touch and go, gets out that second outer zone, and there goes Ken Gushi. Doesn't make it out to that second outer zone, transition into that final inner clip, and now brings it across the finish line. You saw Ken Gushi shorten it up to get and approach that final inner clip, Ryan.
Well, unfortunately, Ken did not have the proximity here. Vaughn, pretty good job on his lead. Ken was probably a little bit higher there, but you can see in comparison to Vaughn chasing, Gushi really didn't have the proximity. He was on a bit of a lower line. Very well executed on that outside zone by Vaughn Gittin Jr. Gushi trying to close the door here, but unable to until the last section of the course where it tightens up there. So now the judges have seen both runs, The phenomenal lead from Ken Gucci and the chase run from Von Gittin Jr. and then the reverse, and now they've got to put everything together to figure out who's going to move on into the top 16.
Do we have a verdict? Slide him left for Von Gittin Jr., the former champ, or is the OG Ken Gucci going to win it? Ryan says Von Gittin Jr. Andy says one more time, and Brian says one more time. So as real quick, we'll go to Lontaine, but in a moment, Lontaine, real quick, you said Vaughn.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I just thought that although Gucci was a little bit higher in outside zone 1, Vaughn did a much better job of maintaining proximity throughout the course, was more aggressive, was able to really put pressure on Gucci. They both made little mistakes here and there, but just felt like overall Vaughn had the advantage over Gucci.
Doesn't matter what you think, because you got outnumbered.
I did get outvoted. The other two handsome gentlemen on the other end there voted one more time, so the lovely fans here at Formula Drift Seattle get to see this one more time.
And rightfully so. These two FD veterans are going for it. But before we see our next battle, I'll throw it down to Lorette, who's with another former champ, Michael Esse.
A wild chase run for Michael Esse, and we were just talking about when the lead driver isn't having a clean run, when do you make the decision to stay in or back out?
That's one of the toughest things to do. I mean, you know, Travis was killing it. He got super high on the bank right away, and he was just like on throttle, but he got into the wall a bit, took some angle out. I thought the front end was going to go in. I just checked up a little bit, and he started to get angle back in the car, so I just shot back up to his door. He bounced a couple more times, but luckily he saved it. He's a great driver, so he was able to just hold on to it and finish the run. And, I mean, it was wild out there, but, you know, everybody is pushing so hard, and if the chase driver checks up because the lead driver makes a mistake, you might lose because of that. So you just got to stay in it and hope for the best.
Job well done.
Thank you.
Guys.
Look at Esse. That's a big smile on his face, man. That's nice. It's nice to see. As we move on to our next battle, and so Ryan, we saw Odi Bakshis get knocked out. Dai Yoshihara takes out Odi Bakshis, a contender for the championship. Now we will go back to the one more time of Gucci and Gittin, seeing that overhead of the Norwegian Hammer, who is our current points leader. He's going to be going against James Dean, who's our defending champion.
Yeah, taking Odie and Ryan Turk and Chris Forsberg aside for a second,
right.
And just continuing with the rivalry that's been developing between Frederick Osbo and James Dean since he's been in the championship for the past 2 years. These battles always seem to go 50-50. Osbo gets one, Dean gets one. However, in this particular case, in the top 16, because of Osbo's qualification, I think the pressure really is on him here. He's leading the championship, but James Dean is within 72 points of the championship. And if we look back at the end of the season and James Dean takes out Frederick Osbo, we'll certainly be talking about this moment as part of the factor wherever James ends up, whether it's, you know, first, second, third, whatever. But this battle is certainly very important right here.
And the big thing in my mind is, you know, Frederick Osbo, he's got to stay cool, even considering all the things that have happened to him, popping an engine, this, that, and the other thing, the pressure of having to throw down a run. So all that comes into play. And then you go against one of the, you know, arguably one of the best drifters in the world, James the Machine Dean. James Dean will lead, Frederick Osbo will give chase. James qualified second and quickly gets that wall. Look at that, blending right in. It's like he's a blue and white camo on the wall. Frederick Osbo, not mimicking the angle, but definitely has that diving in effect and close in proximity. Now transition. Whoa, doctor, look at that. Frederick Osbo transitions and then goes right to the side of that Wordhouse Drift Team Falcon Tires Sylvia S15. Oh, wow, contact on the far side.
All right, we're going to have to see that
boy.
because, yeah, something happened after the finish line. But look at Osbo here, keeping the pressure on. As he said, a little bit less angle, kind of very minorly twitchy, but a great lead run by Dean, getting out to that touch and go. And Osbo diving in here. He's going to fall offline a little bit as James Dean is tight on that that first inside clip, rather. Now through the finish line. Let's see if we can stay on this. Osbo's going to be on the inside. He's going to go off course.
Oh, dang.
And watching the replay again here, watch Osbo. He's going to fall off this first inside clip here, just to that second hash mark. But if we've got it all the way through, Osbo...
It looks like James comes down, though. Watch. Look. Dude, he was pinched out.
Well, yeah, I mean, both drivers are supposed to be...
Yeah, you're right.
Supposed to be getting off throttle there, but we have a very crazy incident that transpires after the finish line. So it's not going to be... It's not going to be part of the judge scenario. So I think we're definitely going to have to figure out how this is going to play into things, because I imagine that... our competition director, Kevin Wells, is going to be telling us how this process is going to play out. since it happened after the finish line. Let's take a look at this to see if we can see. This is a drone shot kind of magnified here. Watch Osbo. He's going to dip off the course, and he's going to hop up.
Dude, holy cow.
Wow.
So while we figure this out, I'm going to throw it down to Lorette Nickel, who's with Mr. Bakshis.
Odie, as such an amazing driver as you are, and with so much on the line, unfortunately there was a few mistakes that were made on the track that resulted in Dai taking the win over you. So can you explain what happened?
Yeah, you know, we as a team, we had a very good idea that we're faster on the first turn, and that threw me off because Dai was actually making ground on me on the first turn. So I tried so hard to catch up to him that I disregarded the fact that we were very sure that we were faster in the infield, and I was playing catch up and trying so hard to close in that gap because I'm usually used to being on someone's door, and that's just how I drive, that I just clouded my judgment about knowing deep down in the back of my head that we are faster than infield, and we just we carry too much speed in the infield. I drove faster than I needed to, and I just put myself out of competition here, and we'll see how it unfolds, potentially out of the championship. So we got to strategize pretty hard going into next round, and you know, I had a rough event. We didn't have really time to sit down and just relax and think about stuff. We had car issues, and I myself had to jump in and help the guys because the issues were so large. So, you know, I felt like I needed to relax a little bit and gather my thoughts, and we just didn't have that luxury this weekend. So this sport's so competitive, you know, you need to think about everything and keep cool.
Well, Odie, with 3 rounds left, it's not over yet, so good luck.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you, Lorette.
All right, so that looks like it's now codified. The competition director wanted the judges to deem fault. It went into the direction of Osbo. That means Osbo only has his competition timeout. So you can see as soon as they get hands on the car, once the car is down, that will be when the 5 starts. Dean, on the other hand, who from what we hear coming from the hot grid, has also sustained pretty sizable damage. He would have up to 10 minutes. So both drivers going to have to be fixing the vehicle, and we'll come back to that, Jared. But let's get to this one more time battle between Ken Gucci and Vaughn Gittin Jr.
Yeah, crazy.
Crazy battle in the top 16.
Man, why'd they have to hit after the dang finish line, guys? Come on, pump the brakes. All right, so this is a one more time battle. Ken Gucci will lead. Vaughn Gittin Jr. giving chase. And here comes Goosh out of the gate. Again, this one more time battle. Full lead and chase in its entirety. And look at Vaughn just grip up and rip up into the side, but then falls down, loses some angle there as Vaughn Gittin Jr. wiggles his way to the side of that Toyota 86. And how he sees through that smoke is beyond me. Definitely just getting caked with some Achilles shrapnel. And now on that final inner clip goes Goosh and Gittin.
Well, this time around on the one
Don't hit each other.
Battle, Vaughn did not really have that precision that he had on the bank the first time around. He had it starting right there, but then he falls down, has to make an angle adjustment. Gucci still nice and high on the bank. Ken seems very consistent out front. He gets out to the touch and go, whips it into that second outside zone. Now Vaughn's getting up on the inside, putting the pressure on Ken, coming through this last section of the course, and pretty clean from here on out. So we've seen the lead from Ken Gucci. We've seen the chase with a couple little mistakes on the bank there by Vaughn. Here it is going into that second outside zone. And we will switch things up, Jared. Vaughn will now take the lead against Ken Gucci in the top 16.
Pretty exciting as Osbo and Dean getting into it. And we thought we were going to see a battle on the track, and ends up being that the battle is just after the finish line. Look at that. So here are those corners. You could see as, oh boy. Looks like Ken Gucci is now calling a competition timeout. What is happening, Ryan? Seattle.
Hold it together, everybody.
Hold.
All hands on deck there.
Yeah, look at that. So Ken Gucci calls a comp timeout. Could see a spotter.
Did he, or?
Yeah, he did.
Well, maybe,
yeah, Ben Schwartz, his spotter, just did this.
Yeah,
right? Pat, Gucci called comp? So a competition timeout was called. That's a lot of work, but I mean, a lot of talent there underneath and looking at the corner there. Osbo still. So we're finding out that Ken Gucci And Ken Gucci called that comp timeout. He lost power steering, and that is hypercritical, especially at this course, you know, from that big bank. And we saw, you know, with Dirk Stratton, he lost his serpentine belt. He lost power steering and threw him right in the wall. So that's definitely an integral part of a race car.
Yeah, no question about it. And you see the teams working so hard down there, the track staff, competition staff. This has been a crazy start to the top 16. Everybody's going crazy, calling competition timeouts, crashing.
Let's go crazy. Let's get nuts. All right, so we are seeing, again, the comp timeout called by Gucci. Dean and Osbo, they're working on their cars. Let's see some teal and blue out here on track. We are seeing Justin Pollock piloting his Roush Performance Falcon tires Ford Mustang. It's a teal and blue, an All-American, All-Falcon battle as Matt Field piloting his Falcon tires Corvette. And now throwing it into that big sweeping turn. Big angle there from Pollock. You can see Matt Field compromising a little bit of angle to gain that proximity. He does just that. Gets right to the side of Pollock and out to the touch and go. Hits it, quits it. Now into that second outer zone. Both of them filling it properly. A really good straight up battle here from these two gentlemen. Ryan, that was solid. Don't hit, don't hit.
Well, we get a clean start here. Big flick right there by JTP. And now Matt Field starting to pull him in here as Justin mid-high line on the bank. Look at Field keeping it door to door here. Beautifully executed, coming through the smoke line. Both drivers get to that outside touch and go. Great job by Justin in that second outside zone. Matt following through this final inside clip and a great way to start here. Let's take a look at how close they get on that touch and go. Boom. JTP a bit deeper in that second outside zone. Both drivers very tight on that inside clip. Trying to mimic here is Matt Field in the chase position. And that's a great battle. So Field going to the lead on the second half with Justin Pollock following him. So we know those, it's down to 8.
Oh, look at this. They're saying we're good.
So it looks, if they're saying they're good, that means that Kevin is checking it for safety.
They're saying, I mean, again, you know, Castro and the Papadakis Racing team operates Castro and Osbo's car, and they're saying we're good. Hands off. Kevin's going to check it out.
Did you see the clock in the background?
Yeah.
It was before the we're good. It was down to 8 seconds.
Wow. Wow. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But like you said, that incident was after the finish line, so that doesn't dictate on how the run was judged. And I can't even recount it because it got so zany right now. Maybe we'll have to do a replay.
Yeah.
But, you know, right?
I'm sure that our production crew will pull that run back up so everybody can see it again. But obviously that was the story to tell there, is what transpired after the finish line.
Yeah, wacky. Matt Field, Justin Pollock, they're going to be throwing down here the second half of this battle. Matt Field out front. Justin Pollock in the chase position, tip to tail. Here we go, send it, fellas. Going in there, Justin Pollock lunging to the side. Oh boy, look at Matt Field, almost dragging that carbon Kevlar up on the wall. Now getting out to that touch and go. Looks like exceeded it just a little bit. Now really wrapping around that first inner clip, and now in that second one, Justin Pollock taking out that Black Magic clip. Some solid driving by these All-American stallions. Man, woo!
Well, that was another awesome battle, but Field went quite a ways off course here. You can see Justin surging, trying to close the door. He got up and backed off for a second. Now watch Field. He's going to get out to this touch and go. He's going to drop at least 2 tires there off the touch and go. Now watch how much more dramatic that looks when we take a look at it from the drone. You'll see the perspective of how far offline he was there. And obviously the lead driver is dictating the pace, so the judges will take a look at that in context.
The teal on blue, which one is advancing on? JTP, Justin Pollock gets the win. But man, I'll tell you what, round of applause for Matt Field. Some killer driving out there. You can feel the heat wave from the beast from the bay. Again, that Falcon tires, Borla exhaust, Corvette, Vortex supercharged, and looks like his weekend is done, but great driving there, Matt Field. All right, we are now going to the second half of the one more time battle after Gucci lost power steering after the first half of that battle. And here we are with Gucci and Gittin after, again, that competition timeout. Power steering was lost of that Gretty Performance Toyota Racing Toyota 86. Now Gittin will be leading. Vaughn Gittin Jr. on the Monster Energy Nitto Tire Ford Performance Mustang RTR Spec 5D. And Ken Gucci is there ready to chase him down. You can see James Dean there in the background. Looks like he lost that back right over fender, that wide body blister. All right, here's the second run of this battle. The second run of this battle. And here comes Vaughn Gittin Jr. out of the gate. Looks like he is dipping down, and there goes Ken Gucci. Vaughn Gittin Jr., great angle from him, massive angle. And just a ton of smoke getting kicked off the back, throwing more angle at it, coming into the power alley, dip into that. Oh, and Ken Gucci way offline. Oh, buddy! And looks like an interesting turn of event. What is happening right now? What is going on?
Well, a little bit of unraveling here. Let's take a look at the start. Vaughn, nice and high line on the bank. Gucci falling back, now closing the door, but lower line. Coming down off the bank. Gucci goes way off course and does not even transition. It looks like, and interestingly, looking at that, in the lead position, looks like Vaughn was really overextended coming back around to the inside of that.
When he transitioned, he maxed out that angle. It looked like he was pointed in the wrong direction.
Here's a big mistake from Ken, right? And then Vaughn's got really angled up. He was going to be on the inside of that. So we've got a mistake from Ken, and it looks like an independent mistake from Vaughn in the lead. So this is going to be really interesting here. You have to wonder is the second run a wash?
Oh, wow.
Very crazy occurrences here in the top 16 so far, and the judges with yet another tough decision to make.
Wow, absolutely, absolutely zany. And again, it definitely needs some explaining here. Ryan says Ken Gucci, Andy says Ken Gucci, as does Brian. Going to Lontaine. What is up?
Let me explain. So, second run. Gucci goes 2 wheels off, comes to a weird halt where Gittin is over-rotating and about to spin on his own. Gittin has to straighten up. They make contact. Gittin hits inside clip number 1. It was 2 independent mistakes. Gittin was already making that over-rotation. He was already
independent.
He was going to incomplete on his own by not making it around inside clip 1. Gucci made a huge mistake on his own there. So that's basically a wash for run 2.
So second run is a wash.
Second run is completely a wash.
Okay.
We wipe that off the slate. We go back to run 1, where we can do this. We can analyze both the lead and the chase to see who did better in their independent criteria. Lead run, you're supposed to be high on the bank on outside zone 1. Good transitions. You're supposed to do all the things the lead driver is supposed to do. Chase driver is supposed to be in close proximity, mimicking what the lead driver is doing. Gucci did a great job in the lead. Vaughn had a big mistake on the bank in his chase run, and that's why I gave anyway.
Yeah.
The other judges are on the other end of the table over there, but that's why I went with the result that I did, and I assume they did the same thing.
So basically, just to clarify, the second run is a complete wash. The first run, Gucci had the better of the 2 compared.
Exactly.
Now we are going back to the Dean Osbo battle. James Dean versus Frederick Osbo. And remember, the contact happened after the finish line, so that has no bearing on the judged run. We'll recount, we'll replay the first portion of this battle, run 1 of this top 16 battle. But right now, Osbo, tremendous, get him and his team getting back on track. Here we go, Frederick Osbo, minus the headlights and front bumper, initiates into the bank. James Dean, he's minus that back right fender, but look at him going for it. 2 battled warriors going for the gusto, and they're throwing down here into the power alley. Now transitioning into that second outer zone. James Dean right there. Frederick Osbo showing off all those Motegi Racing wheels, wrapped in Nexen tire, and crossing the finish line. Make some noise, Seattle.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Unbelievable. For Osbo's team to get it back so it's functioning, yet, let alone being what looks like 100%, and then for James Dean to be this close on the bank, we definitely have to see the first run. Incredible battle here between these guys, getting out to that touch and go. Big angle there from Osbo, but James Dean not able to be shaken, stays right with him through the smoke line, finishing up strong there, and one heck of a battle between these 2 guys. Here's run number 1. Let's take a look at this. Osbo trying to close the door here. He's staying tight. James Dean nice and high on the bank. Could this be a one more time, or do the judges see enough to move somebody forward? Both guys get out to the touch and go. Osbo tucking up on the inside. This is where he goes a little bit wide at that second inside clip. So we've got both runs fresh in our memories now, and then this is where the incident occurred.
Boom.
But that doesn't matter for the judging part of it. We've got to come up with a victor or at least get a result to figure out what we're doing moving forward.
Slide him left for Osbo, right for James Dean. Remember, Osbo leads the points coming in. Ryan says James Dean. Andy says James Dean. And Brian says James Dean. James Dean gets the win, going to Ryan Lontaine. And look at that, Ryan. Just like that, Freddie's out. Odie's out. Dean is in. He's 5th in points. Turk and Forsberg, who are in the 16, go to you, Lontaine.
Just a better overall run from James Dean. Frederick didn't have the proximity in his chase run. Dean made a couple little mistakes in his lead, so did Osbo, but overall it looked like James Dean wanted it more, pushed a lot harder, more aggressive, closer, and mimicked him a lot better as well.
Wow. So, again, our top 5 drivers are in the 16, but now as the 8 is shaped, our 2 points leaders are out, 3, 4, and 5. Here is number 3, Ryan Turk. Behind him, 4, Chris Forsberg. James Dean's in. The suspense is just so thick you can cut it with a knife.
Those 2 drivers right there, one in the foreground, one in the background, they are salivating right now because this is a huge opportunity for number 3, 4, and 5 to move up in the championship chase. Seeing Odie Bachis and Frederick Osbo go out in the top 16 is no question going to shake things up here in Seattle, and that's exactly what we talked about in the show open yesterday. It's what we talked about in the show open today.
I'm tired.
Seattle
I'm just sitting here talking
has
about
this
it.
ability.
I'm just exhausted already. We're not even in the grade 8.
You want to quit? You want to go home?
I'm out. See ya. Here we go. Ryan Turk versus Dylan Hughes. These guys have fun in the blackout garage, but now they're throwing down Ryan Turk and the dozer. Ryan Turk and that gum out Toyota Racing Toyota 86 out front, going high on the bank. Dylan Hughes applying the pressure in that BMW, his first top 16 in pro competition, lunges forward in that power alley, doesn't get all the way out to that second outer zone, now transitions, taking out both those Black Magic clips. Dylan Hughes feeling the flow, going against his homeboy, Ryan Turk.
Really coming into his own at this event. Turk gets that initiation. Dylan Hughes starts to tow him in pretty much immediately. Turk is on a mid-high line, right on that white line there. Now watch Turk, he's going to come off a little bit early, then have to back into it again. Hughes has to make a little bit of an adjustment there so he doesn't hit Turk, and now both drivers are back in it after they leave that second outside zone. Whipping through the smoke line here is Dylan Hughes trying to keep the pressure on, but Ryan Turk gets through that finish line looking solid. Here it is from the overhead. Turk is going to get right to the edge of the touch and go, fill that second outside zone. Dylan did come up a little bit short in his chase run there, so leaving an opportunity for Turk to better that as he now goes to the chase position against Dylan Hughes.
As Dylan Hughes in the Permatex AutoZone, BMW on Achilles tires. Ryan Turk repping the race service and the little conifer paint job on the top and that gum out Toyota Racing Toyota 86. He's on Nitto tires, powered by some Nofa energy drink. Here we go, the second half of this battle. Who's going to show up? Who's going to rise to the occasion? Who's moving on to grade 8? Dylan Hughes initiates. Ryan Turk lurking in the shadows as Dylan very high on the bank. Ryan Turk dropping down a little bit, maybe making a correction here. Now grips up, gets out to that second outer zone. Dylan Hughes bringing it right now. Ryan Turk transitions around that final inner clip. A little overshoot there by Ryan Turk on that second inner clip. Ryan, let's take a look at it here again.
Yeah, Hughes is not playing around. Snappy initiation. Turk a little bit lower on the line. You can see he's making some adjustments. There he is trying to get back on the line here, keep the proximity, but Hughes is higher on the bank. Turk comes down real low there for a second in trying to gain that proximity, but he kind of messes up the line, now getting into that second outside zone. We see both drivers get that inside clip. Now watch Turk is going to swing a little bit wide here. He's going to take out that cone through the finish line. Here it is coming through the power alley. Turk a bit short, just like Hughes on that second outside zone. We see that quite often from chase drivers trying to gain that proximity but not following the line of the lead driver. So yet again, another close battle here in the top 16.
So right now, Ryan Turk, the things could get shaken up quite a bit. And as Dylan Hughes, Ryan Turk, slide him left Hughes, slide him right for Turk. Ryan, Andy, and Brian. Brian says Ryan Turk. Andy says Dylan Hughes, and Ryan says Dylan Hughes gets the win. Dylan Hughes gets the win, going to Ryan Lontaine. So look at that, 1, 2, and 3 are out in top 16. Lontaine.
It really came down for me to what happened to Ryan Turek in his chase position. He was a lot lower on the bank for the majority of it. He had a lot of corrections as well. And then near the end of outside zone 1, he had a huge drop in his line. Big handbrake pull. He was really not in the right place, wasn't able to get his car positioned properly, whereas Dylan did a much better job in the chase. Their leads were more or less similar, but really came down to that large, the majority of the track there. Huge mistake from Ryan Turek.
It didn't seem that, we saw Ryan get the win in New Jersey, just didn't have that same caliber of that. So down to Lorette Nickel, who's with Frederick Osbo.
Frederick Osbo. Guys, we knew what was on the line for Freddie coming into this round. And Frederick, you jumped out of your car, and the first thing you said to James Dean was, "I'm sorry." Why did you say that?
Well, I smashed into him after the finish line, and I was behind, and when you're behind, you got to yield. So I was just so lit, I was so on fire, trying to make up the lost ground that I just never lifted. And there was James. So I got into his car, bounced on his tire up into the air, so you guys probably saw. And I'm sorry, James. Didn't mean to do that. Luckily, his car didn't take much damage at all. My car took a hell of a lot more damage. And the boys really had their work cut out for them. So they got right at work, put on complete new left front suspension, and I went out there with the toe a little bit off, but at least I gave it everything I got. And today it just wasn't enough. So we'll go back to the drawing board. James is clearly on fire. He deserves this. So let's see if he takes the win.
Frederick, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Guys.
Yeah, gaining a round of applause here from the fans. The Norwegian hammer getting put to good use. That's you put the hammer away. Like the hammer of Thor. I commend you. Bam! Here you go, James Dean against the leprechaun, the machine. So as unfortunately that happened, but you know who's stoked? James Dean, the machine, the green bean, tall, mean, lean, sheen, as James Dean will go on going against JTP. So one more battle left in the top 16, kids. It's been pretty zany there. Ryan Sagi, a.k.a. Ryan Sage. Peter Fisic versus Michael Esse. That's our first battle of the Grade 8. Dai Yoshihara versus Ken Gushi. James Dean versus JTP. And then Dylan Hughes against the winner of this battle, which is either Chris Forsberg, who's 4th in points coming this round, James Dean 5th. This could have huge implications, and I know you love using that word. I'm just going to steal your word from you, Ryan.
Yeah, and seeing now 6th, 7th, 8th.
Right?
Yeah,
so Pieter, right? What's pull up the standings there, but yeah, I believe Peter Visic's in the mix. Chelsea Nofa could play spoiler here. Chris Forsberg, he qualified a little bit lower than Chelsea Nofa. Nofa qualified 6th, Forsberg qualified 11th.
Visic and Wang.
Yeah, so Visic and Wang. So Wang's out, but Visic, number 1 qualifier, he's already guaranteed in the Grade 8, but right now it's all about Nofa and Forsberg. Here we go, initiated into the bank. Chelsea Nofa, the BC Racing Nitto Tires, Ford Performance Mustang RTR Spec 5D. This is a restart. It is a restart we're hearing as they continue, and this is a restart. So they're shutting it down, and the cone is down. It was hit by Chelsea Nofa, and the lights were illuminated. You can see it's a packed house here at Evergreen. How we doing out there, Seattle? This will be a restart. I'm assuming they'll probably get new tires. Lorette Nickel is with Daijiro Yoshihara.
Dai Yoshihara was just watching on the live stream Ken Gushi versus Von Getten Jr. and some independent mistakes by both drivers out there. So on the Seattle track, how do you minimize mistakes?
It's one of the toughest track to minimize mistake because, this is one of the biggest bank. So you're carrying so much speed into the infield, but coming into the infield, you have a touch and go. You have to go there, but there's no landmark. Only painted on the ground. So it's really hard to visualize where we need to slow down, and I think that's the reason why everybody having a hard time overshooting. And same as me, sometimes overshoot, sometimes not enough. So I'm just every time trying to adjust my driving. Yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations on your win. We'll see you in your next battle.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you, Lorette. And yeah, Dai Yoshihara versus Ken Gushi in the grade 8. We'll take a short 2-minute break because those two gentlemen are going to be getting some new tires, some Nitto tires and Nexen tires. Top 16 continues, but there's only one more battle left, and that was Forsberg and Nofa. That was a restart, so we allow them to get a new set of tires because they'll just burn right through them. So don't go anywhere. Short commercial break. We'll be right back. Send it. All right, welcome back here as we are now seeing the final battle of top 16. Chris Forsberg versus Chelsea Nofa. Again, that first battle, that first portion of the battle did not count. Chelsea Nofa will lead. Chris Forsberg giving chase, so the red lights will illuminate and then extinguish. And here we go. So again, that first portion of the battle does not count. Here is Chelsea Nofa. That BC Racing Nitto Tires Sport Performance Mustang Archer Spec 5D. Chris Forsberg looks like he dropped back a little bit. Can he catch him and gain some ground as Chelsea Nofa now through the sweeper entering into the power rally. Forsberg taking a shallower line, doesn't get out to that touch and go. Now transitioning into that second outer zone. Again, not hitting all the lines. Chelsea's filling them as we wrap it around that final clip. Ryan, Forsberg from qualifying to now definitely not hitting the marks.
Well, Nofa continuing this progressive run here. Mid-high line on the bank, working his way up. Forsberg trying to close the door here, but Nofa looking strong in the lead position, now coming down off the bank into the touch and go, hits it into that second outside zone. Forsberg a bit tighter there, and Chelsea still with that big angle able to hit that first inside clip. Forsberg through the smoke line now and finishing things up. You can see a little bit less angle there from Forsberg. He's in the middle of the course, does not really fill that second outside zone, so Nofa off to a good lead here. And Forsberg also misses that last inside clip, so he's got his work cut out for him now. He's going to go to the lead position here to challenge Chelsea Nofa.
Chelsea Nofa could play spoiler here for the three-time champ. And again, the winner of this going against Dylan Hughes. So Piotr Fisic, Michael Esse, Dai Yoshihara, Ken Gushi, James Dean, Justin Pollock, Dylan Hughes, and now either Nofa or Forsberg to enter into the grade 8. Now to alternate the order here. Forsberg will lead. That NOS Energy Drink, 370Z on Nexen tires. He initiates into the bank. Here comes Chelsea Nofa. You can see him inching, not super aggressively, maybe keeping a safe distance as Forsberg now gets out to that touch and go transitioning. Oh, look at Chelsea Nofa takes a way shallow line, approaching that first inner clip and the second. Forsberg knocking it over. Ryan, very interesting transition there.
Let's take a look here. Second run, Chris Forsberg in the lead, three-time champion, trying to make his way through here, take advantage of some of the top guys going out. He's on a mid-high line. Nofa trying to close the door here, coming down off the bank, gets big angle there and transitions very quickly on a much tighter line, giving some back to Chris in the lead position. We saw Chelsea with that awesome lead, and now Chris came back in that second run. Here's Nofa super tight on Chris. He goes off course there, transitions very quickly, and he's on a much tighter line here. So some mistakes being made, and now the judges once again, tough calls to make here today.
Do we have a verdict, or are we going one more time? Here we go, slide him left for Forsberg, right for Nofa. Ryan, Andy, and Brian say. Ryan says one more time, Andy says Chris Forsberg, and Brian says one more time. So a one more time battle here for Nofa and Forsberg. Let's take a look and talk to Lorette Nichols. She's with the dozer.
A historic day in the life of Dylan Hughes, as not only does he take his first top 16, moves into the grade 8. Dylan Hughes, you have arrived, and I couldn't be happier for you.
Oh, I'm absolutely shaking right now. Ryan's been a good friend of mine for a long time, one of the guys that got me into drifting when I was first starting. So to even just have the honor to run up against him, let alone beat him, like, I'm just floating in the clouds right now. Like, I can't even explain it. I just want to run some more tandem. I'm having so much fun. I just want to do it again and again. It's so much fun.
How do you keep this momentum going forward?
You know, after the 32, the nerves just kind of go away, and from here on, it's just like you're just kind of doing your thing, and it's just like another practice run, and obviously stepping up the aggression and maybe a little bit of car setup to go with it, but I mean, just letting it all hang out, you know what I mean? We got nothing to lose, so let's party.
All right, give me a high five. Congratulations on your win. Moving forward, guys.
All right, there's Chris Forsberg and his team strapping on some new Nexen tire rubber. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll see the one more time between Nofa and Forsberg. All right, welcome back here. We are live for our final battle of top 16, and this is the one more time battle between Chris Forsberg and Chelsea Nofa. So we're going to find out who's going against Dylan Hughes, who is just feeling the flow right now, taking out Ryan Turk, and right now you can see Nofa on the start line as Forsberg warming up his necks and tires. Chelsea Nofa and that BC Racing Nitto Tire Ford Performance Mustang RTR Spec 5D. Ready to rowdy here. And here is Chris Forsberg getting his camera fixed and ready to go for it. Again, is this the final battle top 16? Well, I guess essentially it is, but will we have a victor? Nofa will lead his qualifying 6th, Forsberg qualifying 11th. And here we go. Really burning up those Nitto tires off the start. And here goes Nofa ripping into that first outer zone into the big bank. Nofa really high on the wall. Forsberg about the white line. Coming now down into the power rally. Out to the touch and go goes Nofa, transitioning to that second outer zone. Forsberg keeping proximity, not mimicking the exact angle of Nofa and around that final clip and across the finish line. Ryan.
Well, this one more time battle here, off to a good one. Let's take a look at this here, Jared. Nofa snaps into it, gets a good jump. Forsberg on a little bit of a lower line, but now working his way up, trying to keep pace here, but still a bit lower than Nofa, looking strong out front. Closing the door there was Forsberg on that line. Now Nofa out to that outside touch, or excuse me, that outside zone number 2. The transition there allowing Chris to get right into that smoke line. So it's a pretty solid lean run right there front by Chelsea Nofa. Chris got pretty tight at that second inside clip, leading from the first inside clip, so was able to make up some ground there. Now switching things up.
All right, here we go. Forsberg now leading, Nofa giving chase. You can see in the back, looks like we got Peter Fisic in the back, got Michael Esse, he's back there. So Piotr and Esse are the first battle in the grade 8, but who's joining them? Who's going against Hughes? Forsberg or Nofa? Leaving the start line, no cones hit so far. We got a clean start, here we go. Forsberg. Faint entry into the big bank. Forsberg high on the bank, and look at Nofa. Brings it in, reels him in. Now coming into that power rally goes Nofa and Forsberg. Good transition there from Forsberg. Nofa exceeds that touch and go area a little bit. Oh, and look at that! Nofa rotates with Forsberg continuing on. Ryan, I don't think I saw any contact. Let's take a look at here again. Was there? Did they hit?
Yeah, there was.
Oh, okay.
There was contact
I was going
there.
between naked eye and video, so.
Well, this was a great start for Chelsea Nofa. Chris is on a nice high line, but it's being matched by Chelsea Nofa here. Driving right through, and even in this really tough part of the course,
wow.
He drops a tire or two coming off there. Now watch this as we get into this first inside clip right there.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to make contact, and Nofa is going to spin out just after that first inside clip.
Take a look at here again. Here's the overhead, Ryan.
Here's the initiation. Nofa, great angle there, sticking with them, pretty much mimicking Chris. Chris surges forward. Nofa keeps pace here. Coming down off the bank, Nofa drops a tire coming off into that touch and go. He's a little bit shallow on that outside zone, and then right there.
Yeah, that front right hitting that back left of Forsberg. Slide him left for Forsberg, right for Nofa. Ryan, Andy, and Brian are saying. Ryan says Chris Forsberg, Andy, and Brian. Chris Forsberg gets the win. Forsberg gets the win. As there it is, our grade 8 is shaped. Well, let's go down to Lorette. She is with the Irish driver that is the machine.
For James Dean, today has been, I think the word we can use is unpredictable. So tell us about that.
Yeah, definitely unpredictable day. Practice started out really good for us. Then we went on to top 32 where we had a buy run. And after the end of the run, I noticed my water temperature was sky high. Brought the car back in, the guys couldn't get the temperature down, found out the problem, the head gasket was gone. So in the halftime show, the guys removed the head, found a blown head gasket, replaced it, got it done in time, and then our first battle was with former champion Frederick Asbo. So very intense for sure.
So after all of that, how do you take a deep breath and refocus?
Yeah, so I was trying to stay relaxed, like the team had everything under control, and I was just having faith that they would get everything done, and I knew my first battle was going to be insane. Every time myself and Frederick battle, you never know what's going to happen, and this time didn't disappoint. After the first run, we both ran a really nice run, and over the finish line we had contact. Neither of us wanted to see that happen, but you know, these things happen when you're pushing hard. We both managed to repair the cars and get back out for the second run. So props to my team and Frederick's team for getting both cars out so we could finish off with it on the show.
Good luck moving forward.
Thank you very much.
Jared.
Thank you, Lorette. And James Dean, given all the problems, still just focusing and keeping his eye on the prize. We'll see if he can podium once again. He has not had a win just yet this year. Ryan, just some craziness unfolding between, you know, Osbo popping the engine, that contact with James Dean, you know, even Gucci and getting that thing kind of unfolding, and now Forsberg and Chelsea going one more time, and now finally Forsberg getting the win, and Dylan Hughes, you know, playing spoiler for Ryan Turk.
Yes, very unpredictable event, as James Dean pretty eloquently said there, on all fronts.
Yeah.
Not only the runs themselves, but the things that have transpired within the runs and things that in this event have happened after the runs.
Right. Yeah.
So all these big consequences here. Certainly, it's going to be very interesting to see how things line up after this event, because as you mentioned, we've seen some top guys go out, and we're still seeing some of the guys that were a bit outside in competition. So no doubt that's going to have an effect on where we are heading into brand new track at St. Louis.
Yep. Yeah, now St. Louis, Texas, Irwindale, 3 remaining rounds after here in Seattle. And those are both the final 2 rounds of 4 of the Link Engine Management Pro 2 Championship as well. So that should make for an action-packed weekend between Pro 2 and Pro Championship. All right, so Peter Fisic, Polish flag waving there off the back of his comms antenna. And Michael Esse will be chasing him down. Peter Fisic definitely feeling it as he went against Kaufman. It was a great battle. But again, here we go. Peter Fisic initiates into that bank. Looks like the car, again, once settled. And Michael Esse now really trying to gain some ground on him. Out to the touch and go. In that second outer zone, massive angle there from Peter Fisic. Esse with the wide swing around that first inner clip, and now bringing it on home into the final clip and the finish line. Ryan, that was nasty. I heard your little woo.
Well, Esse came really accelerating there through that smoke, and let's take a look from the beginning here. Again, Peter Fisic out front looking solid on his lead run. Just a tad behind here is Michael Esse, a little bit less angle there through that last half of the bank. Now, Esse is going to come flying through the smoke line here, close the door, but then falls off just a little bit there. And unfortunately, he pushed a little bit too hard, but I think he needed to in that position to try to gain some ground on Peter Fisic. They'll switch things up now. We know Esse's got a very quick car. He's looked solid this weekend so far, and he can put down very clean lead runs. So it's his turn now as Peter Fisic will chase him down.
And here we go. So Peter Fisic in his 3rd season of the Formula Drift Championship, going against Michael Esse, a veteran of Formula Drift. And Esse, let's see how he initiates. Initiates strong, straight line approach. Fisic jumps right to the side of him. Look at that. Peter Fisic trying to grind that Falcon tire door, or the Falcon tire into the door of Esse, and brings it around. Woo-wee! Look at that. Transitions right to the side of him once again, and into that last inner clip. Wow. Ryan, let's look at this again. Seattle erupts, stomping their feet, shaking. You could see the monitor shaking.
Peter Fisic is so on form this weekend. Your #1 qualifier, right into the pocket, right out of the gate, stays with Michael Esse, who's running a beautiful lead run up on the bank. Incredible. He does not back down here, coming through the smoke line, surges forward, stays right there once again. May have been a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact there, but no harm, no foul. And that was a tremendous battle. Look at that right there, so close to each other. Peter Fisic not phased at all. Watch the transition.
Wow.
Right into the back bumper, through the smoke line. That was probably the best chase run that we've seen all day long.
Yeah,
and it comes from your #1 qualifier. Tremendous right there by both drivers, and it was a great lead by Michael Esse that allowed that to happen.
That timing of Peter Fisic, and go ahead, slide him right for Peter Fisic. Peter gets the win and advances on to the Final Four, and with that, he is guaranteed a podium because he's our #1 qualifier. All right, so one driver in the Final Four. Who's going to join him? Dai Yoshihara, who qualified 4th, is going against Ken Gushi, who qualified 5th. Good friends, both day oneers since 2004, and have seen a lot of action in the Formula Drift Championship and across the globe. Most recently, I know the Toyota Supra has been at the hands of Ken Gushi, and I know that Dai Yoshihara just ran the Pikes Peak Hill Climb, so these guys definitely keeping busy here, as now we are about to see this battle here, the second battle of the Great 8. Dai Yoshihara will lead, Ken Gushi giving chase. Turbocharged LS versus the 2JZ. Ken Gushi, you saw him initiate, but doesn't have a massive angle right from the get, and then now it looks like he's getting some more angle, and he gains that proximity right there, nosing in. Wow, another great chase job there as Gushi now jumps forward on that second outer zone, knocking over that Black Magic inside clip and across the finish line, Ryan.
Well, this is what we've seen from Dai, right? He comes out, lays down a clean lead run, puts the onus on you as a chase driver to follow him. He initiates high, stays right above that white line. Gushi, good proximity here, but a little bit lower line. Very tight here coming off the bank. Dai with good angle through the power alley. Gushi through the smoke line. Dai very close to that outside zone. Looked like Gushi followed him through there. Through that first inside clip. And the next smoke line over. Both drivers looking good on the second half of the run. Let's take a look at this here. Good proximity by Gushi. Maybe even touched Dai right there. Transitions, is still able to get out to that second outside zone with Dai. But I think right now you've seen the chase run from Ken Gushi, and where he had some really strong moments, but the lead from Daijiro Yoshihara was phenomenal.
All right, let's see the second half of this battle. Ken Gushi will lead, Dai Yoshihara giving chase. It looks to be obviously the similar chassis, one Toyota, one Subaru, two different engine setups, but both definitely talented drivers. Who's going to step up? Who's going to the Final Four? Ken Gushi really high up there on the wall as Dai Yoshihara tucks into that smoke cloud, kicking off those Achilles tires. Into that second outer zone goes Ken Gushi. Dai Yoshihara jumps up in that turn 14 distribution, BRZ, and now across the finish line goes both our FD vets.
Let's take a look at Ken's lead run here. Did he equal or better Dai's? Looks like he starts good. He's right up on that white line. That's a great job. But look at Daijiro Yoshihara keeping the pressure on. Maybe not as close, but he might have been on a better line there than Ken for some part of that bigger bank. Great job by Ken getting out to that touch and go. Good angle there through the outside zone #2. Very tight on that first inside clip. And then Dai surging forward here. Falls off just a little bit there towards that last and final turn. Let's take a look at Dai on the outside zone. Actually, he came off a little bit early. Did not get out to that second outside zone with Ken. Hits that inside clip there. So it was a little bit tight, and then he a little bit on the outside of that final inside clip. So, geez, man, another close battle here.
Ken Gushi, slide him left, Dai Yoshihara, and look at that. Oh, it's a one more time. OMT, they are going at it again. All right, here we go with this, with our next battle, the other side of the Great 8 battle, James Dean versus Justin Pollock. James Dean qualified 2nd, Justin Pollock qualifying 7th. And getting prepared here for battle. Peter Fisic, could he see his Wordhouse Drift team teammate in the finals? That's the only way they could see each other. If they keep advancing on, we have seen that before. And here is run 1. James Dean, Justin Pollock. The other side of the Great 8 bracket. After this, we have Hughes and Forsberg, or we'll we'll revisit the one more time battle of Yoshihara and Gushi. James Dean out front initiates. Textbook initiation from James Dean, Justin Pollock. Both these guys running Falcon tires. Let's see how they can offer into the bank and into that touch and go. Both of them getting out there. Justin Pollock, whoa, buddy! Looked like he was gonna exceed the Motorhouse Drift Team S15, but held back, harnessed the pony, and wrangled it back into position.
Let's take a look here. First run between James Dean and Justin Pollock. Dean once again right above that white line. Here comes Pollock, a little bit of a lower line. Dean coming down off the bank. How does he do in the touch and go area? Goes a little bit wide there, but he gets out to that second outside zone. Here comes JTP, tracking him down now, closing the door there and keeping the proximity nice and tight through that second half of the course. Definitely want to see that from above. So you can see James goes a bit wide there on that touch and go, but Justin from that line that he was at was not able to get out to that second outside zone. So a bit of an unforced error from James Dean in the front, going a little bit wide unexpectedly, but Justin Pollock in the chase unable to fill that second outside zone. So now we're switching things up. Justin Pollock in the lead, James Dean in the chase position.
Alternating, as you said, Ryan, Justin Pollock out front. James Dean in the chase. We already have one Wordhouse vehicle in the final four. Some Falcon tire. They've swept the podium before. Can we see a shakeup in the system? So we got a couple of Keeleys and Nexon in the mix as well. Here we go. Justin Pollock, big faint entry there on initiation. The pre-drift and then throws it in. James Dean not able to catch the Ford Mustang of Justin Pollock, now coming in to that touch. Oh, buddy! Justin Pollock sounded like he fell out of gear, and if that's the case, James Dean would just shut it down. It looks like James Dean might be handed the victory regardless of his driving, because Justin Pollock suffering a mechanical. Let's take a look at it again. You could definitely hear it, right?
Yeah, no question you could hear it. You'll also be able to see it in the smoke line if he was not moving forward with momentum any further. Let's see if we can listen to it here, right? He's off throttle, yeah. So unfortunately, it looks like JTP with something like a mechanical there, not able to shift into the next gear.
That means James Dean will get the win. There you go. Round of applause for these guys, James Dean and Justin Pollock. Falcon tires to win either way for Falcon. So slide them left for Pollock or right for James Dean. And there you have it. James Dean advances on, again, 5th in points, and he continues on. All right, well, I don't know if we're going to go to one more time or if we're going to advance on to Hughes and Forsberg, but Lorette Nickel is with the 3-time champion. They're up next.
Coming into Seattle, you were 4th in the championship point standings, and now our top 3 leaders have all been knocked out. I know the goal is always the same, to win, but does that change a game plan for you today?
I mean, not exactly. We always come here looking to get on the podium or win the event, and you know, we can't control anybody else's weekend. But this weekend's been weird. Like, as soon as we got here, we knew something was up. It's a very fast track, and I feel like it's coming into like that championship chase, and everyone's just been turning their cars up. People are blowing head gaskets. Osbo's on his 3rd engine, and we're seeing cars running record-breaking speeds around the bank. And I mean, we're putting more power, more grip through our car just to try and keep up with the Mustangs. And so it's like it seems like everyone is just like starting to do this, and it's like, let's all like put on a good show and stop blowing all our cars up. So it's you do what you can to keep up with the competition, but if it's a bunch of mechanical failures, then what's good is that show?
Chris, thanks so much. Jared?
Thank you, Lorette. We all got a chuckle out of that up here. Just, hey, let's just chill out and stop blowing up our cars and put on a good show. Right now, we are seeing Ken Gushi and Dai Yoshihara. Dai Yoshihara qualifying 4th, Gushi qualifying 5th. So Dai Yoshihara got Falcon tires underneath his vehicle, and then Achilles tires underneath the Goosh. The winner will go against Peter Fisic as Dai Yoshihara, turn 14 distribution, Falcon tires, Ineos Oil BRZ. You can see him there on the right-hand side. They made that modification a few years ago. Obviously, Dai Yoshihara Japanese, Ken Gushi as well, but comfortable on that left-hand side. Here we go. Dai Yoshihara, Ken Gushi. The one more time battle. Which FD vet is moving on to go against the Polish driver? Dai Yoshihara higher than Gushi on the bank, but Gushi great proximity. See a little bit of correction there, a little bit of twitching from the front wheels of Dai Yoshihara. Ken Gushi to the side in formation and then across the finish line. Looked like Dai Yoshihara was almost going to straighten with Gushi. Yeah, let's take a look at that again.
Yeah, definitely want to see that at the finish line again. Very similar to the first time around. We see a great initiation by Dai and Gushi creeping up there with great proximity. A little bit of a lower line here though, so we'll want to watch that when they reverse things up. Now coming down off the bank into the power alley. Touch and go. A little bit short there of the outside zone by both drivers. Lead driver Daijiro Yoshihara dictating pace, and then right here, Dai starts to unwind it a little bit before the finish line. Here's that outside zone. Dai does not hit it. Ken follows him as a moving clipping point, what you're supposed to be doing. Right here, nice and tight. Watch Dai starts unwinding it a little bit here before the finish line. Watch to see if he's still got angle in the wheels, just barely there. So flirting with danger.
Yeah, and again, is that a chaseable run? I would say so, but yeah, definitely flirting with an incomplete would therefore, you know, would cancel him out.
Ken Gushi out front. Daijiro Yoshihara in the chase.
Next to Goosh, now coming down into the power rally. Oh boy, and Yoshihara Gushi overcooking it here. And just seemed like, yeah, I want to look. So let's take a look at this again. They're saying there's contact here. Let's take a look.
Well, this was very similar again to the first time that we saw this battle. Gushi nice and high on the bank. Great job by Dai. Better line, not as much proximity as Ken. But it looks like he just drives off course there. It looks like he was going a little bit too much heat into that coming off of the bank. Here it is again. Nice and high on the bank by both drivers. Here comes Dai. Starting to close the gap. And then Gushi out front. He lifts and goes off course there.
All right, so taking a look at that, they were contact at all, unless he stuck his arm out and kind of pushed him over, but I didn't see that. But as we take a look, and Ken Gushi just overcooked it. And yeah, I think just a big mistake there, unfortunately, for Gushi. But slide him left for Gushi, right for Daijiro Yoshihara. Ryan, Andy, and Brian say Dai Yoshihara. Dai, who was on a tear in Jersey, who thought for sure he was going to be on the podium there. And he finds himself in the Final Four. The FD veteran Dai Yoshihara gets the win and is going against Peter Fisic. Moving on to our final battle of the Grade 8. Dylan Hughes, first time in Grade 8 competition. He's going against FD veteran Chris the Force Forsberg. So your hometown boy from Washington, Dylan Hughes, in that Permatex AutoZone BMW, going against his Blackout Drift This homeboy Chris Forsberg and that NOS energy drink, Nissan 370Z. All right, here we go. The final battle of the Grade 8, Forsberg and Hughes. Forsberg will lead. He qualified 11th, and Hughes qualifying 14th. So fairly close. Chris Forsberg doing it one more time against Nofa. Him and Jeff Jones got in that big tussle. So again, another crazy incident earlier in the day in the 32. But right now is these two friends. Dylan Hughes actually worked for Forsberg, and now here he is going against his one-time boss. And there's Chris Forsberg throwing it in. Dylan Hughes right there. Could be a little higher on the bank as Forsberg now comes down into the power alley, into the touch and go. Now to that second outer zone. It looks like Dylan Hughes doesn't make that second outer zone, but now brings it in. Dylan Hughes cuts through the smoke and brings it on through.
Wow, well, Dylan Hughes was looking phenomenal on the bank there, Jared. He started off tight. He didn't move his way up. He was already with Chris on the bank. A little bit less angle there, but really it's going to be a non-factor because as I come off the bank, hit that touch and go, and get to that outside zone, big angle reduction. He goes 2 tires off, and then he shuts it down right there. He's out of the screen at this point, finishes up the run, but it'll be a massive mistake. Let's take a look at it from the overhead. Beautiful job there by Hughes. Forsberg consistently has these solid lead runs. Perfect job on that touch and go. He gets out to that outside zone. There's the first mistake. Goes almost 3 at the third tire right on the line there, or maybe even on the inside. And unfortunately, that's going to be likely an incomplete for Dylan Hughes.
Let's alternate the order here. The winner to go against James Dean. Either of these drivers needs to advance on into the final, so whoever wins would have to beat James Dean to guarantee a podium. But here, and here we go, Chris Forsberg chasing down Dylan Hughes, this Formula Drift Pro rookie, riding the wall high and tight is Dylan Hughes, the dozer. Forsberg now joins him up top, now coming into the power rally, into that touch and go, transitioning. Forsberg doesn't make it all the way out there to either the touch and go. Oh, and Dylan Hughes looked like he was gonna rotate. And you can tell Dylan Hughes' frustration here, just hammering down. Dylan Hughes spins out, but says, you know what? I'm just gonna keep this rolling cold here. Dehumidifier. Oh boy, yeah, don't crash. Don't crash, it's over. Yeah, don't take out Larry either.
A valiant effort here for Dylan Hughes. Some great driving from him today, nice and high on the bank here. Forsberg keeping it tight. He was on a little bit of a lower line for a certain portion of the bank, but remember Dylan has that big mistake from the first run, and then right here, angles up, is not able to make it through that first inside clip. And he knows it. Gives a little bit of a celebration there, nonetheless, for making it into the Grade 8. This will be huge for him in the Rookie of the Year standings. But it looks like Chris Forsberg will be moving on into the Final Four.
Here left for Dylan Hughes or right for Chris Forsberg. I think you know the outcome here. Slide him right for Chris Forsberg. Chris Forsberg gets the win. He'll be advancing onto the Final Four. He'll be going against James Dean. So our Final Four is set. Peter Fisic versus Dai Yoshihara, James Dean versus Chris Forsberg. We'll be right back here with Final Four, Round 5 of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship. Don't go anywhere, Seattle. You having fun? Make some noise! Lead, the lights extinguish. Second half, here we go. That turbocharged LS BRZ turn 14 distribution. Dai Yoshihara initiates. Looks like now he separates himself from Peter Fisic. And now look at Peter Fisic, boom! Once again, he allows him to transition in front of him, doesn't get all the way out to that second outer zone, but manages to stay close all the way through that finish line. Ryan.
Second half of the battle in the books now. Let's take a look. Dai gets that nice early initiation. A little bit of a gap there. Can Peter reel him in? Does a good job coming off the bank. Looks like Dai's car has some good grip here. Both drivers going a couple tires off, but Dai in the lead as Peter just chasing him down, following like a moving clipping point. Keeping it tight through here, through this last section, and right up there against the back bumper. Here it is from the overhead cam. You can see Dai going a bit wide there before the touch and go, but out to that outside zone. Peter does not fill that second outside zone, but keeps it tight through this section of the course here. Very close there through the finish line. All right.
All right, slide him left for Dai Yoshihara. Slide him right for Peter Fisic as Peter Fisic gets the win. Ryan, Andy, and Brian as Peter gets the win, and he's going to the finals. If you're having some issues there online, we will get it fixed. But again, Peter Fisic dominates Dai Yoshihara. So Peter advances on, and we talked about shaking things up in the points chase with Odie going out. Osbo, our leader, going out. Osbo, Odie, Ryan Turk. Forsberg is still in it, but he is going to try to be put to a halt there by currently 5th in points, James Dean, and our 2-time and defending champion. So things definitely got shaken up here in Seattle. James Dean will lead. And Chris Forsberg will give chase. 5 championships between these two drivers. James Dean, 2-time and defending back-to-back champion. Chris Forsberg, 3 overall. Here we go, the second half. Who's going against Peter Fisic? Will be the other Wordhouse Drift Team S15, or will be Chris the Force Forsberg? We got a clean start. Here we go. James Dean pulling away. A strong pull on Chris Forsberg. Turns on the smoke machine on the bank. You see Chris Forsberg getting closer here. Let's see how they handle that power rally. Coming on into that touch and go, getting out there and nosing in is Chris Forsberg into that second outer zone, just barely glancing past him into that final inner clip and maxing out that angle across the finish line, Ryan.
Well, it has been a crazy event, and it is not stopping just yet. James Dean out front quickly to a high position on the bank. You can see that gap established here. Here comes Forsberg trying to reel him down, but leaving a little bit of room on the big bank. Now through the power alley from that touch and go to the outside zone. Here's Forsberg tucking through, very close there from that second outside zone into the inside clip. And then blasting through the finish line. Both drivers very close coming down off the bank. Look at that transition right there. Unbelievable. Chris was right there, tucked through it. That is amazing that they didn't make noticeable contact. Right. Unbelievable. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, between him and Piotr, just that transition, allowing him to go, you know.
I think is this because his back is up a little bit. Did he slide right underneath that?
Right, yeah. I mean, it just seemed like that, and that's, yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, it looked like got that half bumper there. All right, so now Chris Forsberg will lead. James Dean will give chase. All right. And here we go, the second half of this battle. Chris Forsberg, James Dean, Nexon versus Falcon. Transitioning in, there we go. Chris Forsberg out front. James Dean in the chase position. Forsberg higher on the bank. Practically dragging bumper, coming down into the power rally. Oh, overshoots 2 tires. Goes in that second outer zone. Re-enters the track and puts the car in the right places. But how will that fare against Forsberg as James Dean chases him down, overcooks it?
Well, the drone shot's going to be very interesting here because that really gives you an awesome perspective of that particular part of the course. Watch, here's the line, and he is, yes, well off.
Oh boy.
4 tires off there for Chris.
And he knew who was on his back bumper, who was in his rearview mirror, James the Machine Dean. So if James Dean wins, he's going to the finals, and it is a Falcon Tire podium sweep. Here we go, slide him right for James the Machine Dean. He gets the win. It's James Dean and Peter Fisic in the finals. It's an all Falcon Tire podium because Dai Yoshihara qualified 4th, which betters Chris Forsberg. So that means Dai Yoshihara gets 3rd place and James Dean is going to the finals, shaking things up. So James Dean, who came in 5th in points, Peter Fisic, who came in 6th in points, knocks out our 4th in points, Chris Forsberg. And the beautiful backdrop here at Evergreen Speedway. You guys having fun out there, Seattle? Thank you for joining us. What'd you make of today? Make some noise. Maybe we'll get a wave going here. We'll start closest to the bank when we get the cars prepped and ready to go. But first, Lorette Nickel caught up with Peter Fisic. Can he make this the perfect event? #1 qualifier, and can he take it all the way to the top? Well, next stop for him is his very own Wordhouse Drift teammate, James Dean. Lorette?
It's been a weird season for you, Peter, because you've been knocked out in every grade 8 so far, every round this year. So has something changed for Seattle?
I would say it was very competitive first half of the season, you know. Everybody were getting really close. You cannot ever on each round predict who is going to perform well and who gonna win. So, but it's always like that in drifting. We spent some time on preparing the car before this round, and it looked like it was time spent well. Hopefully, we'll manage to also keep up during the rest of the season. But for now, I'm so excited that I can be in a final, and after winning qualification, excellent.
Congratulations on being in the final.
Thank you very much.
Jared.
Thank you, Lorette Nickel, and there you see the Wordhouse Drift. There's definitely going to be a party there tonight. But, all right, so as we had some words with Peter Fisic, let's catch up with the other side of the bracket. Lorette Nickel, down to you.
Thank you so much. James Dean just told his team to shut the car off. It's noisy down here. But one of the first things you just said to me, it's been a long time to get back here, James.
Yeah, definitely a long time since I've been a FD podium and even FD podium, or sorry, final with Peter. Absolutely mind blown right now. The two of us are excited as hell, and we just want to drive and have fun. I honestly don't mind which way it goes. I thought he was coming. Extremely excited. It's been a tough day. The guys have been working hard. The car is pretty beat up, but Peter's been absolutely on a mission, not putting a foot wrong and driving so aggressively. So it's going to be a crazy battle, and I'm just looking forward to it.
And it's amazing to see how much not only you guys love each other as best friends, but also drifting. That passion comes through.
Oh, for sure, like we travel the world together, and we have so many memories, like on track, off track, and you know, no matter what happens, there's a smile involved. So I'm extremely grateful and lucky to have him as a teammate, a great friend, and we're just living a childhood dream, both of us, and it's just unreal. So my dream right now is just to put on a good show, have fun, and see what happens.
Best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Jared.
Thank you, Lorette. Smiles for miles there from James the Machine Dean. And they are getting some fresh Falcon tire rubber. And they will throw some fuel in the tank, some tires out back, and then get their suited and booted ready for the finals. We'll take another commercial break, but then that should be it. But enjoy the sights and sounds here at the Permatex Throwdown presented by AutoZone. All right, welcome back here as, again, just a beautiful surrounding here at Evergreen Speedway. And we are getting ready for our finals. I believe they are pulling up into the pre-grid, and there they are. Now stomp your feet, Seattle. The finals are here. Are you ready to send it? Look at these guys. They look like twins. They're brothers from different mothers. We have that of James the Machine Dean, two-time defending champion, 5th in points. Peter Fisic, 6th. Let's send it, Seattle, Evergreen Speedway. Peter Fisic out front, qualified first. James Dean, look at that, kicking up the banners, throwing up some smoke. Big angle there from Peter Fisic. James Dean shimming his way down on the bank and right there on the door into the power rally. Now into that touch and go. Woo! Look at that, glancing, missing that front bumper, shredding some skin. Oh, Doctor, come on, make some stinking noise. Wow! Woo! I mean, these guys drive together all across the globe, Ryan, and this is a testament to that.
Well, they are so comfortable together, and that was amazing. Look at Peter Fisic, continues to run these incredible high-line lead runs. James Dean was down a little bit lower, but super close on proximity. Look at the transition, rubbing the bumper as they get out to that second outside zone through the inside clip. Here comes James Dean once again, surging on the attack. Big angle through the finish line, holds on to it. Here it is from the drone, Jared. Look at that, James Dean closing the door, but Fisic amazing on the big bank. Perfect on the outside, touch and go, rubbing across. Beautifully executed there, even with the rub. Both drivers staying in it and pretty much not changing the attitude of the vehicle. So very exciting first run from these two drivers.
Okay, so some of the stats coming in. This would be James Dean's 3rd consecutive time of winning here in Seattle, and it would be the 2nd time that Peter Fisic would have beaten James Dean in the finals. So the stats here are staggering, and it just shows you just the caliber of driving. You can see right-hand drive, left-hand drive, what they're familiar with, but we are about to see a victor. And who are you guys pulling for? The Wordhouse Drift Team vehicle? Okay, cool. Just want to make sure. And where are my James Dean fans at? Make some noise. What about the Candyman? Peter Fisic, where are you guys at? Where are my Drifty fans at? So, again, the Machine, James Dean, Peter, the Candyman Fisic. They have formed the Candy Machine, as they've called it. And we are ready to send it here. On 3, let's yell send it as loud as possible. James Dean, Peter Fisic. Who's going to end up on top of the box? It's a Falcon Tire podium sweep. On 3, let's yell send it as loud as possible so they can hear you in their car. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. James Dean leading Peter Fisic in that chase position. James Dean throwing down. Shots fired across the nose of that S15, and right there into formation. It's a dogfight, friends and foes, and now banging door. Falcon Tire rubber being thrown in the door side of James Dean. Now into that power alley, into that touch and go, into that second outer zone, into the first inner clip, and now into that second and final inner clip, and the finish line. Send it. Make some noise, Seattle.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Peter does not care.
Hold.
James initiating right next to him there, willing to take the risk of doing that and then getting super close right on the door of James Dean. Unbelievable on the big bank. Massive job done by both these guys. James Dean through this first inside clip. Here comes Peter Fisic through the smoke line. Final turn on the door once again, and what
Let's
a
see
great
the
way
Watch
to end
this.
it.
Watch peanut butter jelly time here. Oh, that was after that, but dude, just peanut butter and jelly on the door, just threw it, stuck to him like Velcro. That was sick.
Yeah, the only area there where Peter maybe did a little bit different was he didn't fill the outside zone completely, but he did such a tremendous job on the big bank, and he was on the same line as James Dean. He got to him early. Wow, unbelievable.
Oh,
here's
side by side.
Here's the side-by-side. You can see right here, Fisic has got that gap established, and he's on the door here. James Dean coming down off of the bank. Beautiful on that transition. That's what that area that we talked about.
Yeah.
He got real lucky there, but he was so close. Fisic here on the left-hand side.
Chasing him down.
Chasing him down.
And it's so confusing. The cars look nearly identical, but the red roof and the blue roof. Let them hear you. They can hear you all the way. They're filming there for the Canyon Machine. All right, slide them left for James Dean, right for Peter Fisic. Ryan, Andy, and Brian. Brian says Peter Fisic, Andy says James Dean, and Ryan says one more time. They're not done. So they have some more Falcon Tire rubber to burn, and of course they need to exchange their burnt out tires for some freshies. So James Dean and Peter Fisic, we will take another break as fans carrying Jeff Jones front bumper there. And just some awesome driving. Stretch your legs, grab a beer, grab a good time. Thanks for joining us out here. Again, some awesome driving by Fisic and Dean. The Canyon Machine delivers, and so much so that the judges split decision all across the board. So we'll come back here with the finals. Fisic and Dean. Again, Dai Yoshihara, he's on the box. What is the order going to be? All right. All right, welcome back here too as we are getting the one more time between Fisic and that of James Dean. But before we go into the battle, I throw it down to Lorette Nickel. She has an interview with one of those drivers.
Well, James, you were just nearly under your car looking at the front left. What's going on here?
Yeah, where the steering arm attaches to the hub. Either the bolt is broke or sheared, or else the rose joint is very worn, but there's a lot of play in this wheel. I could feel it at the end of the run, but I thought the bumper or the headlight was influencing the steering, but yeah, there's something going on, so we'll probably have to call 5 in a second and get this side changed. But other than that, sick driving with Peter. He was leaning on me going around that bank like a madman, but really enjoyable, and hopefully we get this fixed and get back out there.
James, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, so we are back here. And again, as Lorette Nickel talked to James Dean, and we are finding out what's going on here, but he is to be to that start line. So, and there it is. Look, so he has called the competition time out, Ryan, and 5 minutes in order to fix his deal.
All right, and we're back here once again. James Dean and Peter Fisic in the finals. The one more time, the ultimate split decision there. One judge going to the left, one judge going to the right, and one going one more time. And it was that close. James with an incredible transition. Uh-oh. The clock is timing down now. And a competition timeout called. Jared.
Ryan, this could be very anticlimactic. This could be it. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Doors closed. Cars running.
Jeez Louise.
Yo, everybody make some noise. What the heck happened? Did we like go back in time? Like, what is happening?
I know what it was. I was
What
like,
was it?
oh, the weather's going to be nice. It's going to be a really cool event. You know, everything's awesome, and it has been all of that.
It's been
but
great.
Competition has just been unbelievable this weekend.
And it makes for an exciting story, obviously. But yes, it just adds some sensationalism to it, right? But wow. Yeah. We got a late entry here that that forklift is going to enter. James Dean jumps behind the wheel of the forklift to compete against his Wordhouse Drift teammate, Piotr Fisic. He's our #1 qualifier. And Ryan are talking, getting sent some stats there. James Dean, this could be his 3rd time in a row winning here at Seattle. Not only just did he win last year, but he won here 3 years ago when he made his reintroduction here into FD. And Peter Fisic has beaten James Dean twice in the final. So these guys definitely have some history, good friends, party on track like this weekend and party off track like many times I've seen them before. And that Wordhouse Drift team pit area is definitely going to explode with some libations and some good times. It coincidentally is just kind of in, I don't know, just a few steps away from the podium where we'll see these guys. Dio Shihara pumped back there. He's in that Subaru BRZ and getting those GoPros attached. Are we going to have a victor? You have to think, you know, Ryan, the work done on his vehicle, is it going to hold? You know, he said it was kind of loose, but tightening up. And hey, St. Louis, let's talk about St. Louis. How excited are you to go there? And again, Pro 2, it's a lot of work with the Pro 2 and the Pro, and we had one of the gnarliest storms we ever saw last year, if you remember that.
Oh boy, yeah.
Yeah, right. And then, but also the new layout.
Yeah, the new layout's awesome. You know, we're going to be making use of the permanent facility. They've paved a brand new area that connects to the big bank. So we are super excited about going there.
Sick.
And getting back to the Midwest. Looking forward to some awesome. And we have a few cool announcements about the event that'll be coming out as we get closer.
All right, here we go. We are about to send him here. Let's yell, send it on 3 as loud as possible. Piotr Fisic will lead on 3. Send it. 1, 2, 3. Peter Fisic out front, James Dean, that chase position. We got a clean start, no cones were hit, and we just saw a sensational battle between these guys. To cause it one more time, James Dean, you can see him inching closer, sans that front left headlight, and Peter Fisic gets on the bank. James Dean dropping in as we go into that power alley. Both of them hitting that touch and go. James Dean, a lot of grip to shred right there, rip it and rip it past that first front clip and into the second, crossing the finish line. We got a full pull here, folks. Are we going to see a standout here? The X factor to stand out and get the win.
Well, this time James Dean doesn't rub the bumper of Peter Fisic, but Fisic once again beautifully done on the bank. So high, right up in that pocket there. Dean super close, he surges forward for a second. Now this is where they made contact last time, but nothing crazy happened from it. This time Dean right there with him. Fisic out front, beautiful job. And this is why he had that #1 qualification, and James Dean keeping it tight. Here it is coming through that power alley, diving in. Right here's James Dean, so he's going to miss that second outside zone. Peter was a bit deeper in that section, and still a little rubbing there through the final inside clip. So great start here to the one more time in the finals, and switching things up now with James Dean going to the lead.
Yeah, James making like a dog and sniffing some tail there, and gets all up in his business. But as now we're going to alternate the order. James Dean, Peter Fisic. Want to make sure that there's no shrapnel up on the bank. Looks like it checked out clear. All right, so are you guys ready? You ready to send it here for the final time? Stomp your feet, let me hear ya. And we are clear to send. Our drive is getting prepared. And this could be the final battle. Are we going one more time? We're gonna have a clear victor. Dio Shihara guaranteed 3rd. Here we go on 3, y'all send it. 1, 2, 3! James Dean out front, the machine, the Candy Machine, as they're known, the duo, the dynamic duo. Who's coming out on top? James Dean out front. Peter Fisic, let's see if he can rub him. Yes, there you go. He is shaving some Falcon tire rubber up on the door. A little bit of correction there, though, from Peter Fisic. Oh, and look at that. Shreds that front bumper, but continues on going. Shredded some fiberglass. Oh, man, look at this. Around that final inside clip. Make some noise.
Look, I love James Dean. He is definitely arguably the best drifter in the world, but Peter Fisic has been the aggressor in both of these battles. Look how close he is on the bank, and he stays with him. That is absolutely threading the smallest needle that you can possibly imagine. He's going to make contact with him here, but both drivers stay in it. So that'll be a little bit of a mistake on Peter's side, but he's doing it for the reasons that we as fans all want to see. Aggressiveness, pushing the pace. Here it is on the bank, and that right there is just exactly what you would expect for somebody that's been on a tear this weekend. So James Dean solidly down out front. You can't take anything away from it. It's incredible, and obviously this is a little bit of a mistake here from Peter, but is it enough to give us a victor here between these two runs?
Man, again, these guys go together. Man, just there they are again outside of the car, just giggling like kids. Do we have a winner? And the car's rolling away. Oh gosh, I thought it was rolling. There they are. Make some noise for them, these two studs. Candy Machine. So sweet, so mean. The Candy Machine. So we're finding out the verdict. All right. Do you guys think we have a winner? Do you guys want to see him go one more time again? You guys never want to go home, do you? Well, El Diablo right here wants to see him go again. There you go. There you go, buddy. All right, let's see. High fives and handshakes as we are waiting to see. We have a winner. We do have a winner. We'll bring the cars right here, front and center. Make some noise. You want to get out your phones, knowing these guys, they're going to light them up. Make some noise for all our competitors, all our teams, the mechanics, and the whole Formula Drift organization. Thank you, guys and gals. We're going to bring them right here, or you can join us at the podium, which is middle of the paddock area, but we'll bring our three finalists right here, front and center. All right, so as we are bringing our drivers down front and center.
Hi, Kyle.
I don't know. I mean, we'll find out. I haven't been handed the envelope yet. I haven't been handed the envelope. We're going to hopefully bring them down. And here they go, making their way over here, fellas. Get in your car, guys. Get over here. It is Saturday night. So again, we'll bring them right here, mid-track. We'll have some words with the winner, and then we'll give out the carbon fiber trophies over on the podium, middle of the paddock area. And we will bring Daijiro. I know he's over there waiting in the wings. Can join us. All right. And here they go, making their way over here. right, bringing them over here. There they are, the Falcon Tire podium sweep. 1, 2, and 3. Dio Shihara in 3rd place, and we'll announce the winner. Make some noise for him. You're gonna want to get out your phones. Celebratory Falcon Tire podium sweep. Blooming smoking. Little smoke blossom there with the trio of the Falcon Tire trio. And bringing it on in. Make some noise for them as they get outside of their vehicle. And he brings it on in. There you go, stepping outside of their vehicle. Let's announce our final 3 podium finishers here. Round 5 of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship Permatex Throwdown presented by AutoZone. Start things off with 3rd place. 3rd place, the Formula Drift veteran and former champ in the Turn 14 distribution, Ineos Oil Falcon Tire Subaru BRZ. 3rd place here at Evergreen Speedway, Slide or Daichiro Yoshihara. Yeah, Dai, you got 3rd, bud. You got 3rd, bud. All right, and now your winner. Your winner here at round 5 of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship. The Permatex Throwdown presented by AutoZone. A fierce one more time battle from Europe. In the Wordhouse Drift Team vehicle on Falcon tires, powered by 2JZ. You like those jokes anymore or no? Your winner is, unanimously voted by the judges, Peter Fisic gets the win. Peter Fisic, the Candyman, gets the win here in Seattle. Round 5 of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship. The Candyman delivers, and it tastes oh so sweet. He makes it the perfect event. Your #1 qualifier takes it all the way. And as Ryan said, an amazing day for Peter Fisic. That means 2nd place here at round 5 of the Formula Drift Black Magic Pro Championship in that Wordhouse Drift Team Falcon Tires S15. 2nd place is James Dean. Whoa! Don't drop him. As James Dean gets 2nd place here at Evergreen Speedway. Please don't drop him. He doesn't have his helmet on. Hey, James, you got 2nd, bud. Make some noise for James Dean. All right, well, I know they are celebrating down there, almost dropping Piotr on his head. Candyman is not invincible. It might seem that way, the way he was driving today. There you go. Wow, I can hear Lorette laughing down there. So I'm gonna throw it down to you, Lorette. Get some words with the Candyman. And he is absolutely elated, hugs all around for the Candy Machine, Dio Shihara. But let's grab him. Lorette, down to you.
I know there is a huge celebration going on down here. We all saw a nice high kick to the roof, by the way. Peter, the last time that you two saw battle was Texas in 2018. Maybe he's your kryptonite, James.
I don't know, James is an excellent driver. His driver is always such a pleasure to drive with him, even during practice and everything. And I don't know how it happened, we just went hard, you know. I went a bit even too hard, but it was worth it looks like. But woo, what a round! You know, 1 and 2, 3 qualification, 1 and 2 down from such amazing outings. Thank you guys, thank you for cheering up, thank you for supporting us. It's indescribable, you know, feeling how I feel right now standing in front of you. So thank you for that, really. Speechless. Thank you guys.
That is amazing. And normally we always talk to the winner, but it seems fitting. I'm going to squeeze right in here. Before we announce the winner, you're just shaking your head as soon as you get out of the car. Can you believe that you're living the dream?
It's hard to put into words what this feels like. The two of us were driving these cars like they're missile cars. It was absolutely crazy. Contact and transitions, and even when we pass over here, we're just smiling at each other, thumbs up. Unfortunately, the cars see the bad side of it, but I can't even describe how fun it is driving with Peter. It didn't even matter, we were just going hard, but this man was on an absolute mission all weekend, and he 100% deserves to win, for sure.
Guys, congratulations on your win. Seems fitting, very fitting that two very best friends that love each other and love drifting as much as they have, as much as they do, are on the podium together. Jared?
Thank you, Lorette, and there you have it again, Falcon Tire podium sweep. As the sun sets here, the sun will rise again at our next event. Meet you at the Crossroads, round 6. St. Louis, Missouri. You can see that August 8th through the 10th because it includes round 3 of the Link Engine Management Pro 2 Championship, and it will be round 6 of the Formula Drift Pro Black Magic Pro Championship. So join us there, watch online. We'll see you another time. Thank you on behalf of Lorette Nickel, Ryan Sage, our whole staff, our 3 judges, Andy Yen, Brian Eggert, Ryan Lontaine, Robin Ishida, our whole FD crew. Thank you to all the sponsors, teams, and the hard-working backbone to the drivers, the mechanics and technicians. Thank you to all the sponsors again. Steph, I'll see you tomorrow. I love you. Parker Jet, Tyson Bravo. Dad's coming home. Love you guys. See you soon, and we'll see you in St. Louis. Send it! Seattle.